welcome to Vertical File. I'm your host, John Connolly. This episode previews my conversation with Brian McCann, a knowledge manager and librarian in Kansas City, Missouri. Our full discussion will be available soon, wherever you find your podcasts. Visit us at sutron.com/podcast for more information. I'm really interested in the knowledge management element there. You mentioned knowledge management, right?
Yeah.
For people who are, do you have any references or resources off the top of your head here that you can refer people to and just say, if you're looking to learn a little bit more, where's a good place to start for people?
I'm actually preparing a presentation for a conference in a few months that's about getting more education with certificates rather than degrees. So yeah, about 2 years ago, I got certified as a knowledge manager. So that was done through the Knowledge Management Institute. There are others, but it's a pretty reputable place. It's not cheap, but they can put you in the right direction. For this, I would actually say to look on social media for hashtags of KM and for knowledge management, because that's where you're going to find likely the most connections for things. Some folks have firm definitions of exactly what knowledge management is and how it functions, but it's also very principle-based, so it's hard to define sometimes, but it does have to do with getting people the information they need at the point when they need it. And just having behaviors and structures set up so that no one has to reinvent the wheel. Everyone can do things efficiently. There's a way to do things. We're not all sitting around finding a new way. It's weird because KM is both an initiative that you do at your company or at your group, but also it's a behavior that you want to be an ongoing thing. So typically KM initiatives, when a firm or a company says, hey, let's start doing KM, we're going to get on that train. Usually that takes 5 to 7 years to work through all levels of the company and make it clear and get things actually in use and get it kind of primed. After that, it becomes a cultural piece. People should be storing and sharing information in set ways that then are still reviewed. It's never like you're fully finished. So it keeps going on. So in a way, it's a short term, but also a long term, and it's finished but unfinished. And so it's a rather nebulous field.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. It gives us a lot of room to operate.
And I've seen the analogy to risk management, for example, right? Or safety management. And those are tasks that are never done.
Yeah.
But they are you trying to cultivate that behavioral level, right? Where you're saying we have to have a culture where everyone is aware of certain risks and we're always monitoring them. Everyone is aware of safety. These things that it's everybody's job. Right now, I feel like many corporations are saying it's not everybody's job. That's IT's job, right? And that's it's not fair to IT, and it's also doomed to failure if people are not entirely on board with it.
Exactly. I use a lot of examples. I use day-to-day examples whenever I can. But one of the key principles of KM that I use a lot is there's this kind of cycle, 4-stage in a circle kind of diagram for implicit and explicit knowledge.
Right.
Because a lot of what we do, we don't talk about implicit. And we need to get it where it's actually spoken or written so that someone else can interact with it. If it's implicit and in my own head, nobody can do anything with it. But if we can get it outside of a person's head and written down, then we can workshop it, we can grow it, we can grow that body of knowledge, we can use it in different ways. But if it doesn't even get out, then it can't get used. And worse, what you often see KM used to address is knowledge retention when people leave their jobs. So somebody leaves, they didn't take notes on all those implicit things they knew, and it's just gone.
Right.
So yeah, again, if you can't find it, it's the same as not having it. Literally walked out the door.
This has been Vertical File by Sutron Global. If you enjoyed this show, please rate us 5 stars wherever you find your podcasts. Check us out online at www.sutron.com.